The shocking death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk has left the country buzzing with questions, rumors, and conspiracy theories. From the moment news broke, people have been searching for answers, and all eyes quickly turned to his wife, Erika. While she stood before America promising to carry on Charlie's mission, whispers began to spread that she might know far more than she is letting on. Between talk of billionaire enemies, mysterious engraved bullets, and strange movements caught on security cameras, this story has become bigger than anyone could have imagined. And the deeper you look, the stranger it gets. Charlie Kirk's wife, Erika, stood in front of the crowd, her voice shaking but strong. She said the people who killed her husband had no idea what they started. Charlie had always preached about faith, patriotism, and God's love. Erika promised that his movement would never die and that she would make sure his name lived on forever. But behind the tears and powerful words, rumors began to swirl. People started saying Erika might know more than she was letting on. Some even whispered that Charlie's death had something to do with powerful billionaires he had clashed with. The pressure on him in the last 2 weeks of his life was said to be overwhelming, and now everyone is waiting to see if secret messages linked to the case will leak. After Charlie's death, the internet exploded with theories that left people shocked and confused. Strange details from the attack began to spread online. Bullets found at the scene weren't normal, they were engraved with bizarre words and internet memes. One casing had "Bella Ciao," a line from an Italian anti-fascist song. Another had video game codes carved into it. Some even had taunting phrases like, "If you read this, you are gay." These strange engravings only made people more convinced that this was not a random attack. Instead, many began to say this was a professional hit, carefully planned and carried out by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. As the chaos grew, conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Some people claimed a foreign government or even rogue elements within America's own system might have been behind Charlie's death. Others suspected terrorist groups. Then came the wildest rumors of all, that Charlie wasn't really dead. Online videos showed his wedding ring appearing to switch fingers, sparking claims that his death had been faked. People pointed to everyone from the United States government to Israel as being involved. Even Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had to step in and dismiss the claims as insane. But the theories didn't stop, and many online kept insisting that Erika knew more than she was sharing. To understand the weight of this story, you have to know who Charlie Kirk was. He wasn't just any political figure. He was the founder of Turning Point USA, a group that became a massive force for conservative politics on college campuses. He was close to Donald Trump and used social media to push his views across the country. His movement was powerful, and his events always drew huge crowds. On the day of his death, more than 3,000 people showed up at a university to hear him speak. But the event had a serious flaw. There were no metal detectors. That's how the shooter was able to position himself on a nearby roof, wait, and then take the fatal shot that struck Charlie in the neck. Right after the shooting, things got messy. At first, police thought they had their suspect when they arrested George Zinn, a conservative libertarian activist who was on campus that day. Zinn even claimed he was the one who shot Charlie, but investigators quickly realized his story didn't add up. He was released after being accused of trying to interfere with the investigation. The FBI then stepped in, making announcements online, saying they had a person of interest. Photos of the suspect were spread everywhere, and the government even offered a $100,000 reward for information. That same day, the FBI shocked everyone by admitting the man they had in custody had been released after questioning. This back and forth made the public more suspicious and raised questions about whether the authorities were really in control of the case. The investigation finally took a turn when a father in Utah recognized the FBI's photos. He said the man looked just like his son, Tyler James Robinson, a 30-year-old student in an electrical apprenticeship program. The father didn't waste time, he told the bishop at his LDS Mormon church, and the bishop reported it to the U.S. Marshals. Investigators soon learned more about Robinson's life, including that he lived with a transgender roommate he was romantically involved with. This roommate ended up showing investigators messages from Robinson himself. The texts were chilling. He talked about needing to retrieve a rifle from a hiding spot, leaving it wrapped in a towel, and watching the area where it was hidden. He even bragged that the bullets were engraved and that the rifle was one of a kind. Forensic evidence also painted a picture of what happened. Investigators discovered palm prints on the edge of the roof where the shooter had been lying in wait. There were smudge marks collected for DNA testing, and even a clear footprint showing the shooter wore Converse sneakers. Nearby, police found the rifle with a scope attached and those bizarre bullet casings that were carved with strange messages. The details of how the shooter planned his movements were chilling. Security cameras caught him arriving on campus in a grey Dodge Challenger, then changing clothes to avoid suspicion. He was seen moving across grassy areas and through a tunnel before climbing up to the Lucy Center roof. At exactly 12:23 p.m., he fired the single shot that ended Charlie's life. Moments later, he escaped by hanging from the roof edge and dropping to the ground, disappearing into a wooded area where he left the weapon behind. What shocked many people was what Charlie had been talking about just seconds before the bullet struck. During the Q&A session, an audience member asked him about the number of transgender Americans harmed in the last decade. Charlie replied, "Too many." The person followed up with another question about how many mass attacks had taken place in America over the same time. Charlie began to answer when the shot rang out. The timing felt almost too exact, like someone had been waiting for that very moment to strike. Witnesses described the hit as pro-military precision, and it left the audience screaming and scrambling in chaos. As more details leaked, the internet only grew louder. Many began to say the shooter couldn't have acted alone, pointing out the scale of planning and accuracy needed. Others swore that people standing near Charlie during the event made strange hand gestures, as if they already knew what was about to happen. On top of that, talk spread about whether America's support for Ukraine had something to do with the attack. Some even claimed Charlie's death was linked to his outspoken comments on Israel and the Epstein files. Each rumor added fuel to the fire, and no two stories matched. But one common thread kept appearing: Erika. More and more people online insisted she knew secrets that could blow the case wide open. Then came a twist nobody expected. Conservative commentator Candace Owens jumped into the storm, posting that Charlie had indeed been clashing with billionaires, and that leaked messages would reveal the truth. She claimed the pressure on him before his death was unbearable and hinted that the fight he was in was bigger than anyone could imagine. Her words sent shockwaves through Charlie's supporters and haters alike. If Candace was right, then there were messages out there waiting to be exposed, messages that could change everything. But the question now hanging in the air is this: who has those messages, and when will they finally come out? Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more juicy celebrity news. Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more shocking revelation. Stay tuned, like, share, and subscribe, because what comes next will blow you mind, might change everything. Stay glued, like, share, and subscribe for more juicy celebrity news.